Welcome once again to How to Relate to Anyone. Here is Dr. Orv Owens.
Well, hello again, and we welcome you to our show. Today we're going to be talking about something that's the basic foundation of all success, and that is love motivation. The ability to give without expecting anything in return is my definition. And giving is a love-motivated function. In business, your ability to give service, give products that are quality products, give follow-up, give advice, give directions, give health for the medical profession. Whatever profession you're in a giving posture. Somehow or other in life, we tend to fall into the trap of getting more focused on building a business and being successful and crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. And we sometimes let slip that area that is most important, I believe, and that is the ability to relate to people by giving of who you are, your knowledge, your success, your background, with no strings attached. Well, how do you pay the bills if you can't charge people? Well, I'm not talking about not charging. I'm just talking about giving your knowledge, your abilities, and so on. But the financial rewards that come back to you are in response to pure giving. You're far more comfortable doing business with somebody who is trying to be productive and achieve a goal along with you, whatever that goal might be, common goals, than to do business with somebody who's, that'll be another 50 cents or whatever. I don't know what, if anything ever costs 50 cents anymore. But anyway, the concept is giving. I'm going to give you something, but I expect. And if I have expectations, it's going to show in the process of giving, because I'm going to restrict my giving based upon how liberal you are with the return on investment. An interesting thing, there's the law of what we call the law of projection and attraction. What you project outwardly, you attract back. If you project acceptance, people will accept you. If you project professionalism, people will believe in you. If you project a giving attitude, people will be in a reciprocal attitude. I've never given without at least receiving the joy of giving. Sometimes you're in a position where you can do something for somebody and they can't even say thank you. I was in Dallas, Texas, speaking for a large group, and I was going from my hotel to the meeting room, and there's a beltway that goes around downtown Dallas, and traffic is shoom, shoom, shoom. I mean, it was really busy. And here out in the middle of the median strip was a lady holding a baby, and her Volkswagen Bug had a flat tire, and she was trying to put the jack under the bumper. Well, Volkswagens don't have bumper jacks. They have the little thing that plugs into the side, and if she would have got it off the ground, it would have fallen off, it would have popped out, all kinds of things. But here's all this traffic going by, 100 miles an hour. I mean, it's just, and she's out there holding that baby. And so it took me a little bit to come to a stop, and then I backed up and told her to get in my car, and I jacked her Volkswagen up, changed the tire, jumped in my car, she jumped in her car, and we drove away. You know, with a Volkswagen Bug, all you have is 5 thumbtacks, so it didn't take long to change the tire, really. And She didn't say thank you. I didn't say anything other than get in the car. And I don't know who she is. She doesn't know who I am. We wouldn't know each other if we bumped into each other today. But it was very dangerous with her out there with that child, holding a child and trying to jack up the side of a Volkswagen with a jack that's not a bumper jack. That has stuck in my mind for a lot of years because it was a one of those spur of the moment things, and you just do it and get it over with and get out of there before something dangerous happens. You've had those experiences where you've had opportunity to help somebody and they couldn't even say thank you. There's actually more joy and more pleasure comes from that type of giving rather than a birthday present and they have to say, oh, you shouldn't have. In fact, sometimes they really mean, oh, you shouldn't have. That's a terrible gift. And you can kind of sense that too. You know what I'm talking about. 95% of our population are fear motivated. Fear motivated means everything they do is based on what's going to happen to me. What do I get out of it? What's in it for me? Now, I'm not talking about you understand? I'm talking about the other 95% that understand. Whoever you are and wherever you are. The decisions that we make based upon what do I get out of it have strings attached. And when strings attached, there's obligation and there's negative attitudes and so on. Only 5% of our population ever conquer these negative feelings that cause us to feel we have to get while the getting is good, or we'll get got. And there's all kinds of sayings that kind of express what I call the law of fair exchange. If you don't grab for all the gusto you get, you only go around once, and that was a beer ad for a number of years. The problem is that kind of attitude destroys relationships rather than builds relationships. It literally causes people to kind of set up defense mechanisms, say, why are you doing this for me? What do you want out of this? In fact, try giving something away without expecting anything in return, and you're going to find most people are going to doubt that you're really giving it to them. What do I have to do? How much does it cost? What do I have to do for you? And some people will say things like, oh, don't worry about it. I might need help sometime. Now you're obligated to do something for them because they're saying sometime, because I'm helping you right now. One of these days, I'm going to need your help, and you better be willing to jump on the bandwagon and help me. You owe me. And so as a result, many people will set up defense mechanisms and have difficulty really receiving graciously. But this destroys personal growth and personal development in the area of relationship psychology when we give to receive with strings attached. So I like to think of love being something where there's no strings attached, no anticipation of getting anything, just pure giving. Well, how can you do that in business? Well, if you don't do it in business, you probably won't stay in business very long. So the fact is, business always requires more giving than receiving. You're going to pay the price. There's hours and hours of personal development and preparation and all those things that you don't get paid for. There's years of schooling, or there's years of internship or developing a product. And in all cases, if you look at the most successful people in our world, they paid a price to get where they are. And as a result, They feel secure where they are because they built their own environment and built their own business. And as in feeling secure, they don't have to expect you to bow for them. I met a man in the back of one of my auditoriums after I spoke. This guy introduced me to him. I found out later this guy was a multi-billionaire. Didn't have any indicator of that. He just was common as an old, we just talked, and he was very friendly and very nice guy, and we went our separate ways. And I find out later I was talking to a billionaire. I have found that most people that are highly successful don't carry a big persona where they kind of have to be bowed down to and scraped. They're just common as an old shoe, as we would say, and easy to get to know and easy to talk to, and they're just open. It's the people who have the great fear motivations that have the defense mechanism set up, and they're guarding themselves and protecting themselves against being taken advantage of. I want to be taken advantage of. The love-motivated person wants to be taken advantage of. Yeah, what's the point in offering a service if people aren't going to take advantage of it? I want to be taken advantage of. Well, don't you get something in return? You never have to worry about return if you're giving enough. I've found the more you give, the more you receive. It's actually a biblical concept or principle, but it's a psychological principle also. The more you give, the more people will respond to you and give back. And when there's no strings attached, when you're not doing something to get something, they can sense that, and the giving is far freer or far more open. So the positive decisions to overcome fear motivations put you in a position where you can literally give, and there are no strings attached, and people feel comfortable receiving from you, but they also feel free then to give to you. Love motivation, giving without expecting anything in return. It's agape love. It's one description of that. So, who do you want to be as a person? How do you want to be perceived as a person? Do you want to be perceived as a person who's grabbing for all the gusto they can get because you only go around once? That's a beer ad. Or do you want to be perceived as a person who's a giving person who believes in supporting and encouraging and giving right attitudes? Thoughts that will dwell in people's minds long after they've left your presence is how giving you were as opposed to how taking you were. Every thought is a decision. And those decisions are either fear motivated or love motivated, and you make that decision on a moment by moment basis. And you literally have to train yourself to be love motivated, because as a child in our growing up years, we grabbed for all the gusto we could get. It's mine. That's mine. Everything is mine for little children. I have 21 grandchildren, and they all are pretty grabby when they're young. And they have to learn that giving is more blessed than receiving. Well, how can that be? Well, the fact is, in pure giving, you are receiving. And that's the key. You're receiving the joy of giving, the joy of touching a life. I've had opportunity over the years to be a part of some organizations that were really giving organizations, and have an opportunity to do some teaching of people who desperately needed help in some of these areas. And in many cases, it was freebies. It was no pay for it. It was just opportunity to touch lives in a positive way. And I'm sure you have also. And you think about those often because the joy of that giving. I I was downtown Seattle when I was in college. I was doing something downtown, and this lady ran out of gas, or her car stalled somewhere or other, and I pushed her off to the side, and she said, "Let me buy you a drink. Let me do something for you." I said, "Don't worry about it." Went on my way. You've done those kind of things, and you know what I'm talking about. The thing is, have we developed a habit of being a giver rather than a taker? Because it needs to be habitual behavior. It needs to be something we do without even thinking about it. And we do that by constantly putting into our mind, what can I do to touch lives in a positive way? What can I do to be more productive? What can I do to leave an impact, positive impact on people that I bump into and work with on a day-to-day basis? Giving. Giving without expecting anything in return, no strings attached. The decision-making process is constantly working for you or against you. There's no such thing as not thinking. We're thinking all the time. And we're either in a giving attitude or a taking attitude. And are in a taking attitude, people can sense that. It's kind of a grabby type person. They're kind of pushy type person. Push their will on your life. Natural thought process is to do either or. Either I get something or nobody gets anything. It's kind of a natural thing because basically most of us are fear motivated. The fears come at a very young age, and most people just don't conquer those fears. We're going to do a whole lesson on just conquering fear. How do you get rid of fear? It's going to be one of the future lessons in this series. So now you have to choose your thoughts to be love motivated. You have to choose to give, choose to be a giving person, choose to have a giving attitude. What do you focus on when you're dealing with people? Do you focus on what you can do for them or what you're going to get from them? That's the question you need to ask yourself every day, in every situation, especially in every relationship. Your subconscious mind will give you information and knowledge that can help you be a giving person. The mind is a garden, and we're either planting positives in our mind or planting negatives, and those are expressed in our attitude, in our personality every day. So to have a positive personality and an attractive charisma, you need to work on what can I do to make other people's lives better? What can I give? And the interesting thing is, I don't care what your age, your experience, your knowledge, your professionalism, your profession, your education, it doesn't really matter. You are a unique individual, one of a kind, and you can touch lives in a positive way, and you do that by choosing to be a giver rather than a taker. And I have found that true giving people never are in want. There's always something taking care of them. Be one of those people. It's a moment-by-moment decision you make. And ask yourself this question, am I giving to receive, or am I giving just to give? Just to the joy of giving. This particular program is today being recorded in December. We're getting ready for Christmas, and a lot of gift buying and all that going on right now. It's a great season of giving. And the joy of watching your children and grandchildren, now I have some great grandchildren, watching them open gifts and get so excited is far greater than the gifts that we receive ourselves. And you all have experienced that. Experience that every day of your life, all year round. Give a smile, if nothing else. I talk to people when they don't expect me to talk to them. When I stand in line at the post office, I don't just stand there. I talk to the person next to me. Some of them don't think you're supposed to talk in line. This is quiet zone. You just kind of shuffle your feet along and finally get to the postal clerk. No, not with me. I just talk to everybody. Try it. You'll see it's a fun thing. You shock people a little bit when you talk to people that you don't know, but giving of your acceptance of people with a smile and a kind word is so rewarding. It's rewarding to you, but it's rewarding to the person you give to also. Tell somebody they're good looking. Tell somebody he's handsome. Tell somebody they're doing a great job, whatever. Be complimentary, and you'll be surprised in giving those compliments how it's going to be rewarded. The reward is going to be a sense of well-being and a sense of warmth, genuine warmth. And it's the kind of warmth that lasts all day and into the night. And you smile when you fall asleep at night. In our next lesson, we're going to be talking about decision making. Every thought ends up being a decision, whether we know it or not. And so we're constantly making decisions. And our decisions determine our destiny. We're going to talk about that and how to make right decisions that build rather than destroy.